We call this meeting to order. Will you please stand up to the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Here.
Rodriguez,
Here.
Hill,
Yes.
Barth,
Here.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Now I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Are we doing any public comment tonight at all?
I have no request for public comment.
Okay. Moving on, I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the June 13th, 2020 regular meeting and the July 20th, 2020 special meeting.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve claims. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is petition from the public, property updates, building and code.
We're going to talk about three properties. The first one is, as you can see in your sheet, it was previously a Davis Reynolds on 715. We acquired that one, purchase price of $1,500. That one in the near future, I hope to get with Dick and Blake, and that would be a good one for.
You might need to get the mic closer to.
Better?
That might help.
All right. So like I said, that would be a good one for a controlled burn. It's a wide open area. It's in a FEMA. It's in the floodplain area, so this will just go to green space. The next one, the big blue one that the fire department got to do a little training on over there. That one, I've spoke with Steve, and we're gonna try to get a purchase agreement going. This one would go out for bid. This property actually sits on a split, there's a dual parcel there, so someone could actually put two individual houses here. The garage is still in decent shape, but the structure of the actual home it's not good at all. You can actually, if you were to get on the roof, you could see into the basement. So that's how bad it is. I've had some people on social media saying they want to see the house and this and that, and I want to be respectful to the previous owner. I don't want to put any pictures on social media. If they'd like to see it, come to my office, and I got video and pictures of it. That way they can see the current condition, because a lot of people, I mean, was a beautiful home. So if they want to see what it looks like now, I just don't want to put it on blast on social media out of respect to the previous owner. The last one. So this is the Wilson property we acquired some time ago. This one also is in horrible condition. I went back into this one last week, and I couldn't stand for more than 3 minutes in there. The smell is overwhelming now. The mold issues, this house needs to be taken down. So if it's okay, this actually is going to lead me into another topic that we're going to go into. So the abutting neighbor of this property would like to acquire this. They have already put together a purchase price that they'd like, and once I tell you the price, it'll seem low, but once I tell you how much it is to demolish, then we're going to be in better shape.
Is that the new house that was built next door to it?
That isn't who wants it.
This one is 7th Avenue Southwest. I think the new house is 2 to the south. So the abutting property owner asked me what we're going to be doing with it, and they would like to purchase it. They offered $2,500, and they would take care of the whole entire property, demo and everything. I got a quote for demolition, and you're looking at anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000. And then you'd also have the abatement along with that. So basically, instead of us spending 10 to 12 and sell the empty lot for 10 to 12, we'll be making $2,500.
Don't we have something in it, Todd? Your time and,
Oh, I mean, that'll all go in with it. Actually, if they would give us $5, it'd probably still be better on our part, so. This is the one I actually found,
know.
the water had been running for some time now, so. Limestone foundation, built in 1900, so. The property owner to the north would like to tear it down, level it, take out all the trees, and then build a nice garage there. So if you actually look at the total value, that's probably what they'll have in for tax roll.
Is that next to Ross?
Yeah, that's actually the owner.
who
that-
wants it?
Yep. So,
Is that something that if they, that we're going to follow up on to make sure that they have a certain time period to get?
oh yeah, yep. So purchase agreement would be like 30 days, or sorry, I'm guessing 90 days for demo, and then rebuild within 18 months or so. Do you guys have any questions on any of the properties that? been
How
working
soon
on?
can we get that process started?
As soon as you guys give me the okay.
Do we vote on something tonight?
It's,
No, you can't vote on that tonight. We'd put it on the agenda, and I think the city attorney would help us walk through that legal process to make sure that we follow that. The purchase price does include any legal and administrative fees, so it would be the $2,500 plus whatever we've got into, that piece of it. Todd's time would not be included necessarily, but indirectly, we're gaining that back by not having to do the demolition. We do have an abatement responsibility. We have to do an asbestos evaluation, abatement, et cetera, for any property that we deal with. Private property owners don't have to meet the same standard.
That siding is asbestos.
yeah, that's something that we wouldn't have to deal with at all, so that would be on the new homeowner to take care of it responsibly, so.
So can
I think
this
it
be
makes a lot of
discussed,
sense.
Yeah, I do too.
discussed further at the meeting of the whole
We
and
don't have
then
to
on the
mow
next
it.
agenda?
Yeah, exactly. We've been mowing it, and actually, the neighbor, they have been maintaining the property, just like the one that we were talking about earlier over by Pizza Hut, that hopefully they get that process started. The neighbor to the east has actually been maintaining that property for us. So I actually mowed it a couple times, and they've been taking care of it from there, so. And that's actually, that'll be, so just so you guys are familiar, east of Pizza Hut, there's 2 houses on one parcel, which you cannot do that. They're both in ill repair. We'd like to acquire those, and then it's a non-conforming lot. You can't, unless the house is 5 foot wide, that's the only, you have to have 25 front, 25 rear. It's a 55-foot lot, so the neighbor would like to acquire that one as well. So that's abutting. They would have, they can do what they wanted there. They could probably do a garage, but that's about it. But you'd never see another house there,
Right.
so.
And you'd see it maintained.
Oh, yeah, that was a rough one. So that's my update on those. If you guys have any questions, just give me a call whenever, so. And then I think I'm up again here shortly, so.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Good job.
next we're going into public hearings. I need a motion. The first one is in regards to International Swimming Pool and Spa Code public hearing. I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I hope you're getting all of these, Gina, as to who's who. Okay.
Can I
Mayor,
s-
I'm not sure they can hear you with your shield on.
You want me to take it off?
Can I speak on this, on the swimming pool?
In a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second to hold the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to the International Swimming Pool and Spa Code. You're on.
Okay. So I actually found some literature from back in the day. The International Building Code actually covers what I'm trying to do. We're just updating this. So right now we have the section 3109 swimming pool enclosures. That's my biggest thing, having barriers on these for, kids, animals, whatever it might be. There's a ton popping up right now, so as far as leniency this year, it's gonna be a little more lax, but next year, I mean, just a few weeks ago, a 3-year-old died in Cedar Rapids from falling into a pool and not being able to get back out, so it's all for safety. I'm not trying to, rain on anybody's parade, so. But it's actually something that's already covered in the International Building Code, but we're just adopting the pool and spa. We have adopted every other international code book, so it's just another seal of approval. So,
Any other discussion?
I had some public comment on it that they thought we were being a bit aggressive, but I think if you look at it from the safety standpoint, it really makes a lot of sense because the liability out there is horrendous, and to think that we could lose a life would be tragic.
Well, and the other problem is if you're not home, somebody just goes into your yard. I think we've seen that people are not respecting other people's property as much as they used to. So, you have to take some stand to protect people from themselves.
I think the other issue is the fact that this is already part of our International Building Code. This makes it a little bit more easily defined, I think. It's the same standard as the International Building Code, but it's more specific to pools. And that's what Todd has been dealing with, are these private pools and the safety that goes with that. So we're not really being that far overreaching from what we've already have in place, trying to make it more easily understood.
Do other communities around us already have this, Todd? Do you know?
basically, anyone that has adopted the International Building Code has already adopted this as well. I haven't really researched into if other towns are doing it. I just think it's a smart move for us, so.
I agree.
Gina?
Safety is the biggest thing, and then I just kind of work back from there, so. Especially with the little ones.
Oh, yeah.
Gina, did you receive anything at City Hall in regards to this particular petition? Okay. Any other discussion from council?
I received a phone call against this yesterday, but there was no specific reason given other than that there's too many rules, too many, if we're gonna enforce this, or we're gonna enforce something else, it's sour grapes. And they don't have a pool.
How easy is this to enforce when all the pools are in the backyard?
As long as, okay, so if it reaches like at my house, for example, I have a 52-inch pool. That pool is still, it creates its own barrier, but I have a ladder that you can flip up, so no one can get in there, because I have two little ones myself, so they can't get in unless I bring it down. So basically, if they already have a fence in the backyard and they have a latchable gate that people can't just go willy-nilly in their yard, then they're already in compliance. These are the ones I'm seeing in their front yards and the driveways. The biggest ones are like the 30-inch tall, and they're like a rubber, like a vinyl, so the kid could fall in, or whatever it might be. It could even be an animal or something. Fall in, and they can't get back out of there. So if they had that, they would have to have a fence around this. If they already have a fence in their backyard, that's great. I already have a 5-foot fence, plus I follow the other ones too, because it's to be in compliance. So Jessup follows this as well, so.
If they have a small pool, they just put it up for a day,
It's anything less than 20, like if they have a little kiddie pool, that's fine. It's 24 inches or over, between 24 and 48.
Actually, any pool over 18 inches deep requires a 48-foot fence as a barrier.
40, yep.
The-
That's on I was reading the 2003, so now they've upped that standard from the 24 down to the 18, so. So basically, I'm just enforcing something that's already in place.
And so if they have a 4-foot or higher pool, they can remove the ladder there.
Yep, exactly, yep. And I've already, once I put this post out there, there's already people removing the the ladders, which is excellent. They also have ones where it's just like a lock. It can be pretty easy to do as long as you just kind of use your head and don't have this thing. It's basically attractive nuisance if you have it in your front yard.
Sure.
These kids are like, hey, there's a pool. My neighbor's got a pool. Let's just go jump in. That's not how it should be.
Right.
So if they have a ladder that they can put up so that nobody can get in the pool, they don't have to have their yard actually fenced in?
Nope, as long as that barrier is already over 48. So if you have one of those big pools, and you can't have them in your front yard, that's an accessory use, and you can't have accessory structures in the front yard. If you have this, and you don't have a fence in your backyard, but you have a 48-inch or taller pool with a ladder that flips up, you're good.
And it must be lockable up, right?
Yeah,
They
yep.
can't just pull it back down.
Yep.
The other question I had from, somebody asked me, if you have a deck built to say a 54-inch pool.
Yep.
And the only access is by the deck.
Yep.
You have to have a locking gate on the deck. to
Correct.
Come up to the deck,
Correct.
correct?
Yep, because it's the same concept. So if you have two accesses, then you have to have locks on both, so. But I've seen a lot around here where I could probably go to a dozen right now and anyone can get in, so.
The big pools can't be in their front yards?
No, it's an accessory, structure,
So
so.
have you done anything about that this year? Or you're just letting them go?
Right now, there's so many. I mean, we had, I don't know if you knew, with the whole COVID thing, pools were just sold out all over the place. And so I'm trying to go, safety is huge, but I have so many other irons in the fire that if there's something that's obvious, I'll go and knock on the door or I'll post something that says, please remove your ladder. But right now, I mean, I could do that as a full-time job, so.
Otherwise, neighbors or somebody can call you if they see one
Yes, yeah,
themselves
definitely.
and
That's
they're
how
concerned.
That's how I learned about most of them, so. And I've had some people that they won't even let I won't say any names, but their daughter would not bring the kids over because the neighbor had a pool that was accessible. So they let their kids run out in the backyard, kid gets in there. So until I had to get on this person multiple times. And they finally have a deck with a locking gate. Grandkids are back over there, and so. Grandma and Grandpa were very appreciative.
Any other discussion or questions?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Do what?
Sounds like a good plan to me.
Okay.
Pretty good
Well, if
common
there's
sense.
nothing else, I would need a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now out of the public hearing. So you have two options. You either can do a motion to approve the first reading, or because of the seriousness of whatever of this case, you can, trying to see how this is worded.
You want to pass the first reading first. Your next step is to approve the first reading.
Okay, and then they can go on to that
If
and
they want to
finish it out
waive-
tonight?
If
Okay,
they want to waive the three considerations and pass it on final approval, that can happen
okay.
next.
So next, I need a motion to approve the first reading.
So moved.
A second. Got that, Gina? Okay. I need a roll call on this, please.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Shar?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Now, you do have the option, if you would like to waive the second meeting or second reading and go to the third and pass this tonight.
I'd like to not, to see if we get any calls about it, because I haven't had any calls.
Okay?
It gives people a chance to weigh in on it.
I'd agree with Deb. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not wanting to do that, that's fine. Next is another ordinance. We're in another hearing for approval of the code Code of Ordinances. So I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next, I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are now in public hearing in regards to our Code of Ordinances. Any updates or anything, Gina, that you need to do on this, other than the ones that were attached? For
Nope, everything is up to date. This was just them including in some of those mistakes that they had when they missed some of the ordinances that had previously been adopted, the major ones being some of your rates that they hadn't put in the rate schedule in the front. So they made those corrections, so we have to re-adopt it as the formal process.
Okay. Any questions or discussion for this?
One question, if we approve this, will where it says Code Independence, April 2020, is that actually would that be our code then? Or okay.
And I have all your supplemental ones to add into your code books, but we'll do those after you guys fully adopt it and make it through its process, so.
I only have one other question. Who ate my cookie? Carl?
I think somebody in Sesame Street.
Any other discussion or questions on Code of Ordinances? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to approve the first reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Again, on this one, you do have the opportunity, it's on the agenda, if you would like to waive the second and pass this on the third reading tonight.
I think I'd like to make the motion on that,
I'm sorry, I didn't,
that we go to the third.
you're making that motion?
I make,
Okay.
Speeds the process up a little bit, doesn't it, Gina?
Yeah, I would say it's advisable for this one. These are all ordinances that you have previously approved and gone through this process on, so it's not like we're sneaking anything extra or additional in there. It's all stuff that's been approved previously.
Second. Okay, so I have a motion and a second to waive the second reading and go on to the third, pass this tonight.
I'd remind the council on this, it would take a supermajority to pass this.
Okay? I need a roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
I think that's our supermajority. Motion carried.
you must have eaten the cookie and now you've left me out. Yes.
Okay. We're under resolutions. Dealing with independence is essential. Motion to approve a resolution. What, you want to take this one, Alan?
This is a resolution that the National League of Cities has suggested that cities across America adopt. Basically, it's identifying those areas that we have experienced, as others have, with financial shortfalls, and encouraging Congress to make funding available directly to cities. The last CARES Act really went to the largest communities in the nation, those that are over 500,000. Nobody in Iowa received any of that direct funding from the stimulus package. So this is just asking them to remember communities like Independence and really all of Iowa. And I'd ask for your consideration in passing this resolution so we can send it on to our congressional delegation. There was action today. We want to encourage that to continue on and get this done.
I noticed in it, you listed we've already put a freeze on 400 and some thousand dollars in capital projects?
Those are our capital improvement program dollars. We can't spend our hotel motel tax or our local option sales tax until we start receiving it. We don't know what those numbers are going to be, and that's our estimate for right now as far as what's frozen. I'm not saying we can't do it, I'm saying that we don't know, and it's too early to tell. Road use tax has been down. We had some good news a couple weeks ago. This morning, they talked about road use tax being estimated at 20% down statewide. Now, what that means for cities, I mean, that's all road use tax. What it means directly to cities, I think the estimate was $100 million short on road use tax. Cities being down 60,000 of that, excuse me, 600,000 of the million that they are missing. 60% of it comes to cities. So,
Are we also going to petition the governor's office? The state received 1.8 billion and committed 700 million, so there's still over.
we're waiting for word on that. We should hear by the end of the week on where that money goes, because there is supposed to be money coming directly to cities. The question is how they're distributing it. They have not shared that with us.
There's nothing in the legislative,
Well, again, we hope by the end of this week we'll have some word on it. This ties back into the next round of stimulus. This is really the one that they're working on today. It is not the one that previously came out. And while I understand what you're talking about, I want to keep us on topic here.
right.
I'm just asking for a resolution, asking Congress to keep us in mind with their next process. And we did talk with Grassley earlier today about this specifically, and the need for this. This just helps us reaffirm our request and our need for their support.
What is his reaction?
He heard us.
I'd make a
make
motion to
mo-
approve this.
I'll second.
One note for the clerk, it says it's done on the 20th of July, and this is the 27th, so we'll have to.
I'll
adjust
get that changed. Thank you, John.
So how does the motion actually read? Motion to approve a resolution saying
For the essential,
that independence is essential?
Yes.
That's all it has to say to do that? Okay. Everybody knows what they're voting on? Then I need a roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next, under resolutions is, I would need a motion to approve a resolution accepting the Enterprise Drive East project as complete and authorize final payment on the contract. Mr. Crawford is here to speak to us.
Not the usual Mr. Crawford this year, but I'm Larry Crawford. I think most of you know me. Yes, the Enterprise Drive project has been completed, and the contractor, I believe, had to come back and finish up some seating. That's completed. I went down and checked it today. It's coming up. It needs a little rain, but it's coming, so. And also someone, I don't know if it was the adjacent property owners, mowed the weeds, but that's gonna make things come along a lot nicer. But the two actions on the agenda are the first to approve the pay request, his final pay request, $2,416.80, and then to accept the project so that after 30 days, the retainage can be released. So they're combined, I guess, in the one action.
I'd make a motion to approve it and authorize the final payment.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Yes. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Shar.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Thanks, Larry. Next on the agenda is a resolution setting public hearing for the sale of 1011 7th Avenue Southwest. That's going to be on our next council meeting?
This would be what Mr. Sherritts was referencing earlier, and this is that process.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And this is just setting the public hearing?
That's correct.
Okay. I do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hale,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Under other business, a motion in regards to First Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project Extension Request.
This is a request from Jasper Construction to extend the completion date on our First Street West rehab project due to COVID-19 issues that they've experienced. They want to move it from September 1st to September 30th.
That'll never be totally closed down, will it?
It is not completely closed down. The detour keeps one lane of traffic open at all times.
We'll be into school for a while, but not too long, about a week.
About 2 weeks now.
We've never had good luck with a late finish like this. I would
Well, this was
caution
September's
my
not
fellow
too
councilmen
bad, though.
against this.
I
But
will
if you look
tell
at
you
their
that.
COVID days, they've missed.
Yeah, the contractor contacted us, and he originally had planned to come in end of August, 1st September, and he anticipated 4 weeks of construction. Now, to answer your question, Deb, westbound First Street will be maintained. They're going to do it half at a time, and westbound First Street will go through on either half that's open. We're going to continue with westbound First Street open. The return from First Street will go over by the old Fairway store and across the Second Street Bridge. So it will hopefully alleviate any backups that would occur in the downtown area, in the school rush, assuming there's a school rush in the mornings. But yes, the contractor, I tend to believe through no fault of his own, is behind schedule because of, he had to lay crews off for 2 weeks. I think he said 2 or 3 times.
Well, there's a list of it. and
Yeah.
When you first read this, I thought we shouldn't do the extension either, but when you go back and look at all the names of how many days each of these guys had to be off, quite a few of them are 2 weeks, and
Now, he did tell us that he's trying to scramble his schedule and get his work scheduled for the rest of the year, and he's gone to other municipalities asking the same thing. I believe he said, I guess I can't quite say for sure, but the majority were telling him that they were going ahead and granting him an extension.
14 of his workers here were off for 2 weeks,
I saw it.
and 2 of them for 7 days and 1 for 5 days, so.
No chance of Cheech and Chong coming back to finish the bridge.
No,
approaches?
this is a contractor who specializes in bridge deck
Okay.
overlays, and he does quality work, and we've got total confidence in him.
I was under the impression we were going to start this just after the 4th of July.
That was his option, to start it, and we communicated that to him. And he had already scheduled other jobs, and again, he looked at our job and he said, I think I'm looking at 4 weeks on that job, 2 weeks on each half. And so he put it in basically through the month of August. And then, of course, his schedule kind of got backed up when he had to send guys home for a couple of weeks.
So if we approve it, anything after September 30th would be a penalty on them.
That is correct. At this point, what he's asking for is not to be charged
From the 1st to the 30th.
the liquidated damages for running past September 1st. He wants to extend that to September 30th, I believe the letter says.
Is there a chance that if he doesn't get it done by September 30th or comes back and says, I can't start till the middle of September, that we could go to next year and have the same price and everything rather than trying to get this thing done while?
Yeah, I don't think there's really any need for that, that once he gets going, once he starts doing the work, he's working on a concrete deck, so he's not gonna have rain delays, for mud and stuff like you normally have. So, he's pretty confident of once he gets in here, he can get the work accomplished. And the only thing that would limit us is bad weather. And I mean, we could go cold weather. We could go into, we could go to December 1st, conceivably. But I guess I've got confidence in the guy that he's going to get in here and get it done. But this is what he's asking for, and that's for your consideration.
I think considering all the delays that they've had, I think it's the only right thing to do. And it's not like we're going to end up with snow and ice storm that early, so
If we do, it's your
it's still
fault.
going to get done. I brought it up, didn't I?
Yeah,
I
I'll
would just,
underline that in the minutes.
when we first awarded this contract, we were the ones that told them they can't start until after the 4th of July, so we did push it back that far. I don't know if that would have made a difference, but that
Well-
was at our request.
Now that you mention that, Al, as soon as our 4th of July got canceled, we contacted him.
Right.
And said, you can move in anytime if you want to. And he said, I've already got everything in motion here. And he said, that was when he reiterated that, he says, I think your project is only going to be 4 weeks. So he said, I'm going to leave it right where it is. So, but that,
Rain and water can cause a problem with decking, with replacement.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
I
he
mean-
can't work in the rain.
No, so this thing could go substantial, and it has to dry out. And it depends on what the subsurface is like too.
Actually, when we mill that, before he goes on and puts his deck down, he pre-wets it. So a little water, it doesn't have to be bone dry. So there's very few situations that are going to limit his ability to work. I mean, when it's pouring rain, he can't be out there, but as soon as it quits raining, he can blow the water off and get back out on it.
If we extend this, does he get rain days in there then, still?
No, this is a completion date contract.
Yeah, so.
And that's why he had to ask for this, because it's just a date on the calendar. And when that shows up, it's, the contract he's under right now says any day past September 1, liquidated damages, I believe, are $250 per day. And again, that's what he's asking you to extend that deadline to September 30th.
I mean, we've already gone just from after the 4th of July to September 1st, 2 months, 2.5 months, and now we want to go another 30 days.
That's
I've got a
That's the
bad taste in my
decision.
mouth after the fiasco down there.
I'd make a motion, we approve it to September 30th.
Second,
Okay, any other discussion?
And stick with it.
Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
No,
Motion carried. Thank you very much. Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to approve a Iowa Department of Transportation supplemental agreement for maintenance and repair of primary roads.
This is the Highway 150 agreement through Independence. We get our $7,958 a year for doing snow removal and basic maintenance through town.
That's not very much, is it?
It never is.
They're at least giving us a new highway.
So when we get the new road, will it give me more since it'll be a nicer road to have to keep clean?
Highly unlikely.
They'll probably say cheaper because it won't take as long to go through a nice road.
Won't have as many holes and stuff.
has anything in the agreement changed since last year, or will it change once the work is completed on that section?
I'm not aware of anything that should change on this because basically it's giving us permission to do the snow removal instead of them coming through with their trucks to do the snow removal. We do just very routine maintenance,
potholes, that kind of stuff.
Right, we don't do any of the heavy construction, if you will. I really don't see anything in here changing. I've never seen anything change in it other than the dates. I think that the amount changed once in the last 6 years, so, and that was not substantial.
So even when we're under construction for half of 150, that won't lower this. We'll still be paid the same amount on a monthly basis because we're maintaining other
Well, yeah,
primary roads?
This takes us halfway through the first phase of construction, so
Okay.
I think it's just a kind of a routine contract that they send out with municipalities for state roads that run through our municipal boundaries.
Okay.
I make the motion, we approve the Iowa Department of Transportation supplemental agreement.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. All those, roll call, please.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Shar?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
Yes,
Hannah?
Yes,
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda. First Street West Trail Project, change order. Good thing you came tonight, huh?
This is our First Street West Trail project out by the school and out to John's place there. We finally got it done. There were some issues. The contractor had to come back and finish. He needed to do some seeding and some regrading and some cleanup and so on. What's before you tonight is a change order. The contractor ran over his completion date. This was a completion date contract. And he ran over his completion date by 15 days. And then he petitioned the DOT due to some justifiable delays he had in other projects that delayed him on this project. So the DOT granted him 10 of those 15 days relief on. So he ended up with 5 days of penalty at $1,000 a day. So to process that through the contract, it has to go down as a change order. And it's a change order for $5,000, and it's a deduct off of his contract. And so that's the step you're taking tonight. The contractor has signed this and approved it. We've approved it. If you approve it, it will appear on the final pay request as a minus line item. And then we'll be able to approve that final pay request and accept that job.
I
After
make the
this.
motion to approve this change order.
You actually are making a motion to approve a change order? Put that in bold print, would you, when you make the minutes out?
you'll
Do
prove
I-
them off, we get money back.
Do I hear a second?
I had a second.
Okay, thank you. Good work. Roll call, please.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Shar?
Absolutely.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Loughlin?
yes.
Hannah?
Yes,
Callahan?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carried. Okay, now we have a motion on professional service agreement, 6th Avenue Southwest Trail.
This was discussed by the council, having the trail design and really having the plans and specs in our back pocket should funding become available. This contract does take us all the way through construction and construction oversight. So you see a contract for the full project, acknowledging that the council just wanted to go as far as plans, specifications, and having it ready to bid. And I think the contract references that if we stop at any point through the contract, we simply pay for the work that's been done up to that point. The only question in the contract that I have is services not included would be construction staking. I believe construction staking very well could be necessary for the project. So just so the council's aware that that was one of the excluded services, and maybe Larry would agree to include that in the contract price.
I'll do my best here. Let's see, Brian is the author of this. It's our standard agreement that we normally use with the city. And again, it's a not to exceed, it's an hourly not to exceed figure. So we just charge you for basically the work we do. And like Al said, if for some reason this process would stop, we'd stop on it. Services not included. Legal surveys. Material testing. Thought I found it there, Al, but
On page 4,
which item? Oh, construction staking, H.
yes.
Yeah, and again, we do that hourly, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that the abilities of the contractors vary so much. Some contractors come in, and since they're building it, 8 feet off a road and basically following the edge of the road, we probably don't have set any stakes for them. Some of them need a little more hand-holding while that's going on. And so that's why it's kind of hard for us sometimes to put a number on that, and we'd rather just work for you for the time we have in it. We think that's a better deal for you, just kind of a pay-as-you-go thing. I think in the packet, unless there's any questions on the contract, I kind of wanted to show you the pictures first, and then we're.
I just did have a question on one of the pictures here,
Okay,
the 404.
the overview one,
Yeah, the overview, I see it's all on the west side of or north.
that is, I guess that's just kind of one concept.
Okay, that's
And-
not a
And
set.
during that feasibility stage of the contract, we're prepared to examine the other side, but here's what our thinking was on that. We need to get, by the time we get up to the corner there by Rick Sorg's, we need to be on the west side of the road. And after some discussion amongst ourselves at Crawford Engineering, we got to thinking that the safest place for them to do that is down here south of Lover's Lane. Because any traffic that's coming down 6th Avenue and down Lover's Lane, you're not going to encounter that. So we'd be eliminating that traffic stream. But there are other options. We can look at that through the process.
Well, the only reason I said it was through the years of discussion, and I mean, this has been years of discussion. We've always talked about the property owner on that side probably not being willing to give us easements. Is that something you would
Well,
find out? They would-
And that, again, that's part of the feasibility again. We need to probably contact those people and find out their attitude towards granting an easement. It's, it's pretty much bottom ground, not that valuable. It's not cropland. And I think we feel that we need something on the order of about 10 feet along there to make the trail work. Maybe a little more down by that box culvert. And then, ultimately, we need to end up on the west side of the road, and we want to do it before there's kind of a blind spot. It's not a blind spot for cars, but it's kind of a blind spot for a little kid on a bicycle. So we would rather have them crossing out in the open where everybody can see them real well. So that's how that ended up like that. But again, it's, as we work through the process, we can examine the other options. One thing that limits us even if we did want to stay on that east side, at the north end, on the east side, is Pioneer Cemetery. And it's a high bank, and we just don't have enough room to get a trail in there without going into that Pioneer Cemetery, and I don't even know how you do that, so, and I don't really want to do that, so.
Would your study include putting any lighting along here for, because I know when we did First Street West, we discussed, using the existing streetlights that would, for safety.
Well, I think that's certainly a viable item for this, since it's kind of a rural trail. The ones, the only other thing comparable is 150 South, and there's plenty of road lighting along there. So yeah, it could be that we want to examine some lighting, whether it's full-fledged street lighting or just some shoebox lighting, kind of guide lighting along there, but, yeah, I think there's room for that.
I sent an email, I don't know if the rest of the council saw it, but I'm trying to think, was it Vinton that was putting in the reflective or nighttime?
And the permeable,
Oh, the paving.
Yeah, the paving, so that the trail actually at night,
illuminates.
something like that in that dark area, if it would be cheaper than lighting, I don't know if that would work.
All right. Did you send that to us, or?
No, not, I can.
I can get that to you.
All right. I'd be interested in looking at that.
The only other question on the agreement is, if we do have to have right-of-way on the west side, that's also excluded from our services in this agreement.
Yes, and again, for the same reason, we don't know what that's going to take at this point, and rather than take a guess at it, it could be on some of these other trails. We had some trail committee members go make contact with the people, and we, now let me think here. I think we had some pretty good luck with some people. We had to keep going back a few times, but if we can employ some of those techniques, that would minimize that cost there. And as far as drawing up the easement, that's going to be pretty minimal. And then we can get that to the city attorney for his putting the legal agreement on the front of the easements. So, but yeah, any other questions on the concept or the contract?
Will we be pursuing this till, because we don't have funding or anything for the trail itself at this point, do we?
The purpose of this is if there's any supplemental or infrastructure packages that come out, then we've got
And we're ready
a
to.
project that's ready to go. Right now, it's a great concept, but we don't have a project that's ready to go. So if we had an infrastructure supplemental bill that came out, we're not eligible. So this is really positioning ourselves for future funding. And I want to emphasize, we do not have this trail, we don't have any of this actually formalized in our budget, but we're trying to lay the groundwork so that we can pull the trigger on it should that become available.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the engineering agreement with Crawford's.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the engineering agreement. Any other discussion? Then roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion
Okay,
carried.
thank
Will
you.
there need to be a culvert system on the west side, if that is the side?
We're going to have to extend that culvert.
Up the hill and then,
Oh, as far as,
because that's a ditch now.
yeah, well, we'll probably just shed the water on off, is what we'll do. We'll just fill it.
Right.
But, yeah, those kind of things, I mean, they're kind of in our heads, but we don't have those things fleshed out completely yet. But we've got the basic concept on it. Okay, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Larry.
Thank you. Next is an approval of Police Academy reimbursement agreement.
So what you have in front of you is just an agreement for training expenses for a new officer that you'll be seeing here soon. That better? There you go.
You talk too softly.
He does.
Sorry. So
Much
what you have in
better.
front of you is a reimbursement agreement for training expenses for Officer Logan Ludovici, who we'll have here shortly for being sworn in. We did the same kind of a contract with Jason Ort when he went through the academy. Logan is not certified. He has graduated from Upright University, but with the degree that he has, he can't go to Hawkeye, so we'll have to send him to ILEA in Des Moines, which does cost us a little bit more in time for him to travel, and the academy is a little bit longer, but yet, and they said we can't send him to the Hawkeye Academy, so that's why, let's see, we had the same type of agreement with Jason when we hired him.
Upon creation of this agreement, my office did put in there the maximum because at the time we did not know what type of benefits this employee could elect. So we put in the maximum cost for those, just so that would be covered, but it could be less depending on what type of benefits they select when they do their paperwork for hire.
Also, another partner that can also change this has mileage, and it has mileage accrued from him driving here and down. Well, it depends on if he takes our squad or if he takes his own personal squad, how that might affect it as well. So if we have the ability for him to drive our squad down with equipment and stuff that he could use down there, we'd prefer it. But it all just depends on what we have at the time and if we can have him take the squad for how long is he going to be gone.
Then does he have to work a certain length of time for us to reimburse that?
The contract is for 4 years. And then every year, the first year, if he leaves within the first year, it's 100%. Between year 1 and year 2, it goes to 75. Between 2 and 3, it goes to 50. Between 3 and 4, it's 25. And anything after 4 years, it's a wash.
This is a fairly standard agreement in law enforcement when a community puts somebody through the academy. He's not allowed to go to the academy until he's employed. He is required to be certified. So most communities will honor something like this or very similar to this with a 4-year repayment, if you will. So if he decides that he's going to go to Cedar Rapids and find something more exciting, we get reimbursed for that cost of putting him through the academy.
I'd make the motion that we approve the Police Academy reimbursement agreement.
Second that.
And is he on payroll too during this time?
Yes, it will be.
What hour, how many hours is that?
The academy, usually it's 40 hours, but with the academy, he can have more in training on a specific day than on other days. So on an average, it's at least 40, if not more.
How many weeks is a training?
This is 16 weeks.
Okay.
That's only the academy training. When he comes back, he'll be doing more training with us. We put him through a field training when he gets here, so.
Very good, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, discussion? We do have a motion and a second, so roll call, please.
Sharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next is an oath of office. So how are we going to do this?
All right, so I'll introduce you to,
What is that?
Where's Lucas? Find him.
Is there somebody on the phone? Who's on the phone?
I see his last name is up on the screen, so I'm guessing his name is the same. This is Logan
Mrs.
Ludovici. We are hiring him to replace 111, Officer McFerrin. Let's see, correct me if I'm wrong with anything, just graduated from Upright University? Okay. What degree did you come out of there with?
Associates of Arts and Associates of Science in Psych and Criminal Justice.
Yes, he looks young for his age. He will be the
I'm
youngest,
already worried about that.
he will be the youngest one on our department when he starts. So, as of right now, his start date, he'll be sworn in today. A week from today is when he'll actually come in and start doing stuff at the office. He'll learn all that process. The academy starts the end of next month, so he'll be here for a short window of time, then he'll be down to Des Moines for the academy. His real field training and stuff won't really start till he gets back, which will be in December. So we're gonna be shorthanded a little bit while he's gone. But after the interview and everything, I think he'll make a great asset to our team and be a good team player with us, so.
And he has been working in public safety?
Correct. He has 10 months, he's been working at Fayette County in the jail up in that system. So I mean, he does have an idea of what can and can't happen and all the people that we get to deal with on a daily basis. So,
I think he set a new standard for the chief with the necktie, too.
yeah, choke hazard.
He's doing that for a photo op.
Probably get those from Fairway.
So, being that I see a family member's name, or at least his last name, can we do the oath of office up here in front of the computer? So, right up front here instead of here?
If I can get down there.
Would you pronounce your last name for all of us?
Ludovici.
One more time.
Ludovici.
Ludovici. Never remember that one. Having trouble with council members. Where would you like this?
If you could up here, so that way if anybody's on the ring service, they can actually see it through the camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put Bonnie up there. She'll have everything for you.
I'm going to give you a copy of this, but I want you just to follow what I do, okay? And then you'll need to sign all 3 copies for it. So if you'll raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Logan Ludovici,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all duties of the position of police patrol officer
discharge all duties of the position of patrol officer
in the city of Independence,
in the City of Independence,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as now or hereafter required by law.
Fantastic. I'm not going to shake your hand, because all this stuff. Not sure where, Tim, if you can sign those and hand them back to us.
I have
Got one?
Yep.
Okay.
It's prepared.
Oh. Well, we're always standing up here, aren't we?
Ask,
Do you want this off?
it's up to you if you're comfortable. You can hold your certificate up there. 1, 2, 3. More blue. Excellent, thank you.
Got 'em?
Congratulations.
Welcome aboard.
Love it, have to suck back in there each time, don't you? Okay, we are down to reports, and I've asked Steve to maybe give a little statement as to what things, because we have things we've been doing during report that are borderlining as we get discussions and stuff going, so I've asked him to maybe clarify that for everybody before we do any reports.
Yeah, we just need to make sure for purposes of following our agenda and meeting the requirements of the open meetings law that we stick to the agenda items. So basically in reports, that should be a report as opposed to a discussion or questions. You know, for example, you know, sometimes we'll get shout outs to local community members who have pitched in, you know, times and hours for things, reminders about like pickups and things like that, as opposed to having things lingering into substantive policy discussions. So just a friendly open meetings reminder.
Okay. I used to call on you around the clock, so I think I'm going to go back to that. So Mike, do you have anything you would like to share tonight?
No, I don't.
Okay. John?
Not tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Carl?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Bob?
No?
Thank you. I think you scared them all off. Juan, do you have anything?
No, thanks.
Jen?
No, thank you.
Deb?
Well, I will if it's allowed. I've had some calls about, was it a grant? The money we got for the pantry and the hot spots and stuff. And questions asked, and I know you got one call today because they called you. If you could just tell people that so the public knows, so all the right information gets out there and
The Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, is a grant administered through the Department of HUD. The grant that we applied for specifically has to do with funding for the food pantry, funding for youth meals, summer meals through the food pantry, and funding for mobile hotspots for disadvantaged students at the high school. Those are the only allowed expenditures that we have under our CDBG grant, and this grant was specific to COVID relief, again, through CDBG. It was money put out by the federal government. They simply used the channel that was already available to them for other funding, and the mechanism was in place. So the money, and I'm not familiar with the grant or grants that I was asked about earlier today. I've never heard of them, so I guess I can't, reference those in any way, but I will tell you that our money was very specific to the food pantry for 2 programs and to the school district. That's
you
it.
put in for those, Al?
I submitted the grant for those with the help from the food pantry and from the school district. I worked with them to get the numbers together, and we were fortunate enough to get the funding to help with that.
Is there any chance of any more of that money? Do we know?
I don't know. We did apply for assistance at the senior center, and there was one other program, but we did not get funding. They limited our funding to the food pantry and the mobile hotspots. So
Thank you.
Gina, did you have anything? Al?
I don't have anything.
You want to tell us how great your vacation was?
I had a
or anything?
fantastic vacation. It was very warm, and we enjoyed the grandkids.
Okay. I have nothing to add tonight. Steve scared me off too, so I will ask for a motion for adjournment.
Moved.
Second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are adjourned.